pro wrestling patterns and the stories behind the stories for unapologetic wrestling fanatics. He doesn't just watch wrestling, he decodes it. Here's Brody, Patrico, and Jeremy on the Lou Information Station.
WWE, for the first time ever, is partnering with AAA to do is bought AAA, and they are doing TripleMania for the first time. And the last Outlaw may ride into town today on today's show on Wrestling on the Spectrum.
Thank you, Brody. Just do some intros here very quickly. My name is Tony Patrico. That's Patrico, baby. And joined on the commentary desk, as always, delightful to see both of you fellows this afternoon. It's a beautiful day in St. Louis, and it's a beautiful day to talk wrestling. First, JC, how are you this Saturday?
Gracias, hermano. I am going Lucha Loco today with TripleMania. We are going to get into all the flips and the masks. It's an exciting time to be a Lucha fan, as there is a Lucha war going on. Wouldn't we say, Brody?
Yes. We got WWE, who has just recently purchased AAA, and of course AEW has partnered with CMLL. The big-time promotions in North America are partnering with the Mexican promotions or buying them. It has gotten crazy, folks. They are definitely going Lucha.
Now, I have some questions here, okay? And before we get too far into this, I did want to give some, programming note real quick. You kind of teased it at the beginning there, but if timing works out, we are planning on talking to the Outlaw himself, Jeff Jarrett. He will be calling in to Wrestling on the Spectrum sometime today. He's traveling, so there might be an issue with him losing signal. But if it all aligns up, we're going to be talking to Double J, and we're going to be rocking and rolling here. So that was the tease, and we hope that we can work that out. If it doesn't work out today, for sure in the future, Jeff Jarrett will be joining the show. But what I have a question about is, I am a casual wrestling fan. We've said this before. I am the not watch everything every week. I know what's going on, but I'm not too far into it. Brody, please kind of tell me what the heck is TripleMania? What is this? Why am I all of a sudden seeing this on my TV now?
Okay, TripleMania is AAA's major event. It is one of their big headlining events of the year. WWE recently purchasing AAA. It'll be on the WWE YouTube channel tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time on the WWE YouTube channel. Jeremy Borash, you may know him from TNA. He's obviously worked a lot with our potential guest, Jeff Jarrett, and he is obviously big behind this. JBL, Corey Graves, Conan on the call for WWE. It is phenomenal to see them buy AAA. They're diving headfirst into the Lucha game, and of course, it has been absolutely stellar so far. We've seen great luchador wrestlers such as Psycho Clown and Mr. Iguana on WWE programming as of late, so WWE has fully gone in and has purchased AAA.
Now, JC, so is this NXT level caliber? I'm still confused. Is this a feeder system, or is this just something now that will have WWE getting representation in other parts of the country all the time?
Well, from a business perspective, you got the Latino population exploding. You're seeing this across all media for these really valuable properties from Telemundo, Univision, Caracol. Everyone's investing. What you're seeing now is that Lucha Libre is a religion in Mexico. They truly, it's such an honor, consistent programming. So you're seeing a bit of a dash, not unlike for a while there, the UK was a very hot market. You're seeing where WWE, through the parent company TKO, has come in and acquired 51% of AAA. Okay. AAA goes back to 1992, the family, the Peña family, Antonio Peña, and they've partnered with a company, Philip, that's owning the remaining 49%. So what you see is exposure to something that true Lucha fans, and there are a lot of them out there, have known this for years, but you're seeing now the mainstreaming of this. So do I call it a feeder system? I think you're already seeing the presence of Mr. Iguana. You're seeing Psycho Clown and all these names I heard about on podcasts with Conan, you remember Conan in WCW. He's integrally involved. There's so many different champions and a lot of talent. So in many ways, it's diversifying the audience and bringing up. What remains to be seen is this could be the largest viewing audience for TripleMania ever with their association with WWE and all of the programming around it. And it's a fascinating time right now with the rise of Latino stars like a Dominic Mysterio. Brody, what do you think of the actual matches? What are people going to be seeing now? It's on WWE's YouTube channel tonight. What are they going to be seeing?
They're going to be seeing wrestlers they haven't really been seeing before, because they've mostly been wrestling in AAA. And, WWE, their scope is wide, but we'll see. I mean, we got a lot of matches. We're going to talk about some of them. They'll feature some names you're very familiar with and some of the names that maybe you haven't been familiar as much. We'll talk about some of them. And really, the first match I kind of want to dive into here, they got a mixed trios match, okay? It's going to be the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez being accompanied by Roxanne Perez. The Judgment Day going after Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburguesa, and Lola Vice. Lola Vice has been a prominent, female wrestler down in NXT. I think she just signed a new contract, and they're trying to push her. She is of, I believe, Cuban descent, and they're really trying to tap into it. Obviously, I think the Judgment Day is going to win that match, but they're going to feature some names potentially that we'll see on WWE television in the future in this mixed trios match.
And that's what. But a lot of folks go to Mexico to get, experience. They really come out of there, including wrestlers from New Japan. You'll see how it influences their careers. So I think WWE is just sort of formalizing that. That's why you're seeing this nice mix of mainstream WWE stars like the Judgment Day now going up against some of the stars of AAA.
So I know on the card, and I'm sure we're going to get to them here soon. I know there are some belts, some titles, some championships on the line.
Oh yeah.
So if a WWE wrestler wins this title, does the title go with them to WWE, or do they now have to stay and defend it in AAA?
Both. I think they'll present the title. I think they'll present the belt on WWE TV to help AAA, but that means they'll be wrestling on future AAA events. So I think you'll see the belt featured on WWE television, but also they'll be wrestling on AAA events. So I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see a WWE wrestler potentially winning the AAA Mega Championship, the four-way match. Let's talk about it. The main event of tonight's show, the current AAA Mega Champion, El Hijo del Vikingo, the champion, going up against Dominic Mysterio. Is correctly predicted. Is going to be a big part of AAA. He's going to be involved in this match. Dragon Lee, and of course El Grande Americano, a fatal four-way match. Again, another multi-man match, but I understand they're trying to feature a lot of WWE star power on the show in the main event, trying to really get this AAA Mania promotion over to a much larger audience. So I kind of understand why they're going with the fatal four-way match. Dominic Mysterio may win this match.
I predict that as well. This is the mainstreaming. This is the crowning. Again, they go to AAA to become. They're a boy. They leave a man. They leave a hermano. They really leave an hombre. They go an hijo. I would say that Dominic Mysterio, it is his time. I think this will do great for their exposure. Dominic is having a moment for sure, right? Dirty Dom is on a roll. Why would you not put the belt on him for a while and expose him to either? And if you haven't seen Tony El Hijo del Vikingo,
I have
versus
luckily
Kenny Omega.
So I've seen.
Like
I remember seeing like when the first clip went viral of him, and I went, "You can't do that.
It's
like
insane.
you're not allowed to do that. Like there's no way your body can allow you to do that."
Yes.
And doing the crazy things and the flips. Now, can I tell you, this is the one match on the card that I at least am familiar with. I know what's going on here. Can I tell you my thoughts on what I think is going to happen?
Sure.
Por favor.
I think that they put the belt on El Grande Americano.
Ooh.
Okay, because of the reason of this. You can have him full-time in AAA and not even take him off of one show for WWE because they got 6 of them doing it right now, okay? So you don't lose that at all. Number 2 is you put the belt on him, and then you have Dominic chase it. And Dominic chases it and then dethrones him on a one-on-one match. You give it to Dominic, and then boom, there you go. You can showcase you could showcase the belts on any show that you want to, and then you also have both belts being showcased in both promotions at the same time, leading up to the penultimate match where it will be El Grande Americano losing the belt to Dominic Mysterio.
Brody, can you explain for casual fans, ¿dónde está El Grande Americano?
This is what they're trying to, let's just say, I mean, the biggest drawing heels in the history of wrestling up to a certain point were foreign menaces. From the Terrible Turk to Hans Schmidt to the Sheik, it goes all the way up. I mean, Hulk Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship back in 1984. It's foreign menaces. And the fact that they are using El Grande Americano as that kind of foreign menace in AAA is kind of the idea. This foreign heel, the foreign menace. It always works in wrestling. It's as old as the hills in professional wrestling. It's not new in professional wrestling. So I kind of like what I'm seeing of the usage of the El Grande Americano character. It's a little silly, but it is what it is. They're trying to get that foreign heel, foreign menace in the mix there in AAA WWE.
Yes, and who do you speculate is under the mask of El Grande Americano currently?
I think at various times it's been Chad Gable or Ludwig Kaiser and others.
It would seem that it's him, right? So if you're just looking at him, and he's a solid grappler.
Yeah.
So this should be a pretty excellent match with Dragon Lee. Dominic may be the least experienced, but he's really come a long way. And I could see that, Tony, and you've been on a roll with your big bold predictions lately. So it should be an awesome, awesome time for casual fans. It's on YouTube. There's no pay-per-view.
Yep, beautiful.
Check it out. Pour a little tequila, a little cerveza.
I love
have
it.
yourself a little Lucha Vacacione.
I love it. And hey, if you are a casual fan or if you watch every single moment of every single wrestling program that's on TV right now, feel free to call in and give us your opinion on TripleMania or on anything related wrestling. We welcome you guys to call in. St. Louis needs a wrestling community, and we're giving you a voice. So if you'd like to call in, 855-282-8255. You can also text into the program, 314-590-3770. Also, hey, you want to watch us? Watch us live, baby. All you got to do is go to luinfo.com. Just click watch live. It'll bring you right to the YouTube clip. You can see us in our brand new beautiful shirts. We're rocking the merch. You know what they say. Yep. So we're rocking our new merch
like
here.
John Cena's entrance.
That's right.
Of course. And a big thanks, as always, to the folks over at Brown and Crouppen online at getbc.com. Brody, continue with this card here because I know there's some other WWE names that are being featured at TripleMania.
There aren't many, but there is Natalia Flammer, who is currently the women's AAA champion, and Fabi Apache. I guess Flammer will retain, I believe. I love seeing Natalia on there. She's one of my favorite female professional wrestlers in the history of the sport of professional wrestling. Natalia is great. Love seeing her on the card.
Can I give you my take on Natalia real quick?
Sure.
I think she is. I think she is an amazing wrestler. I think she is even great when it comes to promo skills. I think WWE dropped the ball on her so hard.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Booking.
I mean,
we can remember back in the days. There's been so many of the Vince era, unfortunately, of just can't misses that came up. Keith Lee, Aleister Black. It just felt like, boy, you really missed the mark.
It's like they set her up for people to not care.
100%.
That's how she was presented.
I know.
And especially what did they just do? They just did that thing recently where like she almost was in a street fight. Did you guys see that? It was not a WWE promotion, but it was like a street fight. Right. And like she was flipping off the crowd. And I was like, that's the Natalia I want to see in WWE. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I wanted to see her in the WWE because I think that character I can invest myself in.
And yes, for those listening, she is a member of the Rich Hart family legacy of wrestling. Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, that's his daughter, correct, Brody?
Yes.
Yes, those remembering. Now, I do want to talk about one of the stars they seem to be putting a lot behind, a little bit controversial. Brody, who is Mr. Iguana? This guy literally has like a stuffed iguana in his mouth that he flips around. Now, we can sit here and groan, but that thing has merchandise money.
Yeah. No. I mean, listen, it's merchandise. That's it. I mean, this is a comedy act. I don't enjoy watching Mr. Iguana, but I like that he sells a lot of merchandise and the kids like him. And he's not going to give you a good match, but he does the thing. He does the tricks with the iguana and the kids like it. And I mean, comedy is as old as the hills in wrestling. Let's be honest here. But it's, Mr. Iguana's getting over. He's in the green and black. He looks like a character on Ben 10. I mean, it's remarkable to see this guy. I think he's going to be over. I mean, Santino Marella got a snake sock puppet over, folks.
Yeah.
If he can get a snake sock puppet over, then Mr. Iguana can get over by using the toy iguana however he uses it. I mean, Santino Marella for me back in the day was the bathroom break. I just hated it so much. Santino Marella just made me not want to be a wrestling fan. And then when he was off of my television screen, I could return to being a wrestling fan again. Because
come on, Brody. He was in the history of comedy characters, and you just said it. He was one of the best. I mean, his pratfalls, and to this day, still involved in TNA. Santino, there's an old adage, right, from your buddy Jim, does funny draw money? Well, Rock was pretty funny, and he drew money, yes, at the time.
Rock's
so
credible.
I think there's a lot. I agree with that. At some point, you have to be a credible threat, and it's hard to transition some of those comedy characters. But, gang, what is going on now? There is a lucha war going on. You've got WWE aligning with AAA. Well, meanwhile, All Elite Wrestling over here, Tony Khan, the one that's on TBS on Wednesday nights, Dynamite, they've aligned with CMLL. Brody, what do we know about CMLL? Which is
please let
another
me know.
I mean, the
mutual league?
CMLL.
I'm confused again.
It's really a sad situation because one of their biggest stars is Mystico. And let's be honest here. Mystico is not very good. Not at all. I'm sorry. WWE
Brody,
made the right call.
did you not see the entrance when they did Grand Slam Mexico and everyone's singing along to his song?
He's over. I don't know why. Could somebody explain to me why Mystico is over? He wasn't over WWE as Sin Cara. They had to change Sin Cara's. He's not very good in the ring.
Take people
he has
through,
a great entrance.
Take people through that whole history of who Mystico is. And to your point, they may have seen him as Sin Cara. There was some injuries involved, another situation where they kept putting different people under masks. A long tradition in wrestling, going back to Hulk Hogan as Mr. America. Tell me more about Mystico. Was a big sign at the time.
He was a major sign. You know, WWE's tried to replace Rey Mysterio for a long time, and efforts to do that was Mystico. We're gonna put a blue and what was it, blue and gold mask on him and call him Sin Cara, no face. And Mystico did it for a little while, and it was a dud. Because he's not very good in the ring. Mystico is not that good. And he's still not that good in the ring. His match with MJF was a massive disappointment. It was the most overhyped match AEW has had all year. And it was a massive disappointment.
Well, you can rant all the time, but the ratings would disagree with you, Brody. That was a big hit, the Grand Slam, and CMLL. They've only deepened the partnership. And a guy like MJF, who we all agree is the next Rowdy Piper, this guy is fantastic. And he made that work to the point that they brought him over into many different matches. So you're seeing a continued deeper relationship there with CMLL. So I encourage folks to check some of that out whenever those stars appear too. So does that make better sense, Tony?
Yeah, it does. And someone in the chat here, Ryan in the chat says, Mystico is the John Cena of Mexico. Not all that skilled, but the people don't care. They are just drawn to the character, which that makes a ton of sense.
I agree with Ryan.
It marketed well. And if they find something that's hot and they roll with the money train, you can't deny. Again, I think I've said this before when it comes to like music in general too. You know, you don't necessarily go into it thinking you're going to make money, but if you love something enough, it eventually turns beautiful and people around go, yeah, we want to get on board with this. And that's exactly where I think this is kind of based on what you guys are saying. It feels like it's kind of the same thing where they found something that was hot for whatever reason and went, let's roll with this.
Yeah. Goldberg drew money.
Yeah,
it all works.
You're seeing a real international flavor. We're going to talk, I know, Brody, next week about WWE invading Europe with Clash in Paris, AEW doing the same with Forbidden Door in London. What you're seeing is this truly is an international events here, and more, a lot of that money and ticket sales come by those rapid European and overseas fans. So it's finally becoming kind of the world wrestling, I'll use federation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about what is shaping up as far as the matches that are coming together for Forbidden Door. We can talk about Clash of the Castle and things. I want to get in just because we're talking about the mashups between the different leagues. You've got New Japan collaborating with AEW a little bit more. Brody, we were talking off air. The matches for Forbidden Door, which is taking place at the end of the month here over in London, it seems like they're doing a lot with Tanahashi from New Japan. Tell me about this Lights Out. Just tell the viewers maybe not what you think about it, but tell us what's going on with that.
I don't get why we're having a lights out steel cage match prominently featuring Tanahashi and Ospreay. To be quite honest, why? It's not necessary. It reminds me of like Vince Russo TNA 2007, where they had like a blindfold steel cage match and they had like the reverse battle royal and a reverse ladder match. I don't get why it needs to be lights out. Why? Why do we need to do that? It doesn't make any sense to me why we need to have a lights out match. It doesn't do me any good.
What is a lights out match? I don't
The lights
know.
are off, and then it's going to be like what they did with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, where they have like the red light on, and it's just why?
Why,
it makes
though?
it more spooky and mysterious.
So is this a way of saying this is unsanctioned from us? Is this a way of saying like we turn off the and then I've seen it in the past where like, hey, when these come
No,
up,
this is their way of basically saying, let's just try to do something new. Let's make your average steel cage match something more appealing. So what can we do? Oh, wait, let's turn the lights out and make it more dark and spooky because that's what will make it over because it's Jon Moxley and his crappy creative and the Death Riders. Nobody wants to see the Death Riders. Come on. This is crap, and everybody knows it. Death Riders make everything stink. And this is exactly what this will be. And it's a terrible use of Ospreay in England. Really? He'll win the match, but it's a terrible use of Ospreay in England. A lights-out steel cage match, that's a shame. You know what they rather should have done? Tanahashi and Ospreay. That's the match we really want to see.
Well, I would argue is Will
match.
Ospreay in a physical condition to do a one-on-one match? It would seem to me, to your point, that this is the way to sort of hide him in that because he just had some surgery. Right?
I understand that.
Yeah.
And keep him off then. Why are we having him in a multi-man meaningless match where it's a lights-out steel cage match where it's dark and red lighting? I don't get that part.
Hey, brother, I don't book the territory. I just reported.
No, I know.
John Cena deal him, and we
no,
play
I
him.
get it.
See, and this is where I, as a casual fan, feel like there's almost at this point a wrestling overload.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to be involved in every storyline of both, let's just look at the big quote unquote two, AEW and WWE, I have to invest so much time into wrestling right now that it's so tough for me to go, yeah, I feel like I'm up to date. I feel like as soon as I find out the way that one storyline is going, there's 3 branches of that on different avenues and different characters involved to where, are we at a position right now where we might be looking at wrestling overload, or do you think it's a healthy balance right now?
I'll ask you this. Does anybody here care that a match is lights out? That stipulation is meaningless. Nobody wants it. I don't know any wrestling fan that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want a lights out match. Anybody? Does anybody want a lights out match? Nobody does.
Nobody does. Ryan in the chat does. Blackpool Combat Club was upset, and William Regal left. It turned into this tragedy called the Death Riders. I agree. Well, Brody's going to agree with Ryan. Yeah, Ryan is smart in the chat, and thank you for chatting it up on YouTube, and others can join that conversation as well. Well, I know when we get back, we've got somebody who knows a thing or two about AAA, Mega Championship, and maybe the last outlaw, Jeff Jarrett, can explain a little more of the historical context as we're in the Lucha Wars of 2025, Tony.
Absolutely. And again, if you want to call in 855-282-8255, you could text in 314-590-3770 and watch live on demand right now at luinfo.com. Again, this is Wrestling on the Spectrum on the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at luinfo.com.
This hour of content on the Lou Information Station is brought to you by Grandpa Pigeons, Johnny Mac's Sporting Goods, and Becky's Carpet and Tile Superstore.
Hey, see that, kids? That's the St. Louis Arch, the gateway to the West.
The Lou Information Station, where we'll always call it Highway 40 or Highway 40 if you're a boomer.
The St. Louis expression?
Stream our content 24/7 at luinfo.com. The Lou Information Station.
Lunchtime just got a whole lot better at Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill. From mouth-watering wraps to loaded quesadillas to bold, flavor-packed sandwiches, Hot Shots has something fresh every single day, along with your favorite wings, burgers, and pizza that you know and love. And don't sleep on those Hot Shots tacos. Plus, if you gotta be in and out quick for lunch, Hot Shots has you covered every day starting at 11 a.m. Find your nearest Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill now at hotshotsnet.com. That's hotshotsnet.com.
Is your brand stuck on the sidelines? Tired of feeling like your marketing budget is just warming the bench? Well, then it's time to get in the game with Eyesight Media. We don't just put your brand near the action, we put you in the action. Imagine this, your company front and center, showcased in NCAA and pro stadiums and arenas nationwide. If you're ready to elevate your brand to MVP status, don't miss this shot. Visit eyesightmediagroup.com today to apply for an in-arena partnership. That's eyesightmediagroup.com.
All aboard!
There's a new way to travel, and it's one of the oldest forms of transportation, travel by train. Yes, consider traveling around the United States on Amtrak. Traveling by train is a lot less of a headache than taking a plane, and you'd be surprised how many places you can go on an Amtrak, and there's no passports or IDs needed. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now. We'll book your trip and email your tickets within minutes. Skip the drive to the airport and skip the lines. Call right now to book your Amtrak reservations. We service most of the United States.
All aboard!
Do something new. Travel by Amtrak today.
800-428-9517. 800-428-9517. 800-428-9517. That's 800-428-9517.
You've been strong for everyone else, But let me ask you, who is strong for you? I am Jennifer Bardot, radio personality, author, and publisher, and the founder of Grit Association, which stands for Growth, Resilience, Intention, and Tenacity. What is grit? Grit is a movement, a sisterhood, a space where ambitious women grow, lead, and thrive. This isn't just leadership. This is transformation. Grit is your circle of fire, where comfort zones get shattered, where stories become power, and the next level becomes your new normal. From our 7 international anthologies that elevate women's voices to my radio show, Elevate and Lead, on the Lou Information Station, everything we do is about your rising, your voice, your power, your people. Are you ready? Join Grit. For more information, visit mygritcommunity.com. That's mygritcommunity.com.
Hey everyone, Cam Jansen here to tell you about the experts at Fast Signs in Earth City. Fast Signs can handle any and all of your business visibility needs, from traditional signs and graphics to digital to core graphics and anything in between. Fast Signs in Earth City has you covered. The station uses them, the Blues use them, and you will love the work they do. Call 314-344-4400 for your custom signage needs today. That's Fast Signs in Earth City, 314-344-4400. It's still real to me, damn it!
Now back to more of Wrestling on the Spectrum with Brody the Brain Herman, JC and Patrico on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Welcome back to Wrestling on the Spectrum, brought to you by Brown and Crouppen, 222-2222. Don't forget, you can call into the show, 855-282-8255. You can text in 314-590-3770. And you could see our beautiful faces today. You could see us live on the YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to louinfo.com. You click watch live, couple buttons, and here we are. Everybody wave hi to the peoples. Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you for joining us on Wrestling on the Spectrum. As we come back from the break and our little entrance, our little theme song, our rejoin music plays, dude, that could totally be an entrance theme for a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
It could totally be. And I know that some people will push back and go, themes do not matter. Songs do not matter.
Oh, they've mattered in wrestling since the 50s. I mean, Gorgeous George came out to Pomp and Circumstance, and then, of course, Bad Boy Leroy Brown in 1977 in Memphis, in the Memphis territory, which is owned by Jerry Jarrett, by the way, came out to, of course, Jim Croce's Bad Boy Leroy Brown. And then, of course, you go in 1978, Detroit with Chris Colt, came out to Welcome to My Nightmare. And, of course, in 1979, Randy Macho Man Savage came out to Fame, which was obviously,
really?
Yeah.
It was
Papos.
not the graduation song. He came out to David Bowie Fame?
Fame, yeah. Fame.
Interesting.
And no exaggeration. That was original before Pop and Circumstance. Yeah. Fame was his theme song. And, of course, the Paphos ran an outlaw promotion in the Memphis area called ICW. And then, of course, in 1979, also later that year, the fabulous Freebirds and Leonard Skinner did Freebird. And, of course, then Jimmy Valiant did Son of a Gypsy in Memphis. So, really, when it comes to wrestling entrance theme in Memphis, the territory Jerry Jarrett booked, that's really where wrestling entrance music took off. MTV, and of course,
and it makes sense. The area. I mean, it makes sense. It definitely does because of how important music was around that area.
And do you know what the song was to start off the Memphis program for all those years? Was 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Fitting, very fitting
Ric Flair's
too.
song, yeah. And of course, Jerry Lawler would come out to that song every once in a while on a main event. Yeah, 2001: Space Odyssey, and of course, that really took off, and with MTV, the Fabulous Ones had great music. And of course, the Fantastics and Rock and Roll Express, those MTV tag teams were really just a special time in wrestling. And of course, one of my favorite entrance themes of all time in wrestling, Junkyard Dog, Another One Bites the Dust from Mid-South. It fit him so well. I love that song with him. Bill Watts was there at the time, and it's just phenomenal. Love it.
So my question for you guys, and JC, we'll start with you here. Are you okay with the fact that these themes are now house created as opposed to them being able to go and grab Metallica's Enter Sandman? Now they have to come up with a song internally that sounds like that replicates that because of licensing and all of that. They want to own it 100%. Would you rather see it back how it was? Or do you like how it is now?
Well, I think there's a lot of chatter around it, and these theme songs have become iconic. When you hear Hulk Hogan's Real American, it's just, when you hear The Ultimate Warrior, and what was it? Jim Johnson was the artist.
Jim Johnston, that is correct, sir.
Yeah, would make these themes of Big Van Vader and all these things from your childhood.
Undertaker.
Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boys. Some of these have lasted the time, and we all remember an era in the 2000s when there was a lot of licensed, Randy Orton's song or Altered Bridge for Edge. So it's become its own industry, and for a hot minute there, these CDs, somewhere you've got, Tony, in the back of your trunk or something, a WWF Attitude Era
I bought
song.
every one of them.
Every one of them.
Every
right?
one of them.
Yeah, because it's awesome to hear Jericho's Break the Walls Down and things, or just, the entrance has become its own art form, and you see this taken to spectacular levels around WrestleMania. Or I encourage folks to Google even New Japan on YouTube for some of these Wrestle Kingdom entrances, which are so incredible and amazing. So a lot of them have transcended, but what's going on now, from what I've read, is they are creating internally, and some folks are saying that right now it's a little too generic, that right now Logan Paul's music doesn't quite, what is this? They all sort of sound the same. But you tell me, and I'd love to hear from folks in the chat, who's got the best wrestling themes going right now? Last night on SmackDown,
I love Gunther's. Gunther's fits him so well.
Fantastic.
Oh, his fits so well.
Yes, I mean, Solo Sikoa. I think Roman Reigns has a banger theme. You
I
see
think
a
Roman
lot
Reigns
of TikToks.
Roman Reigns is incredible. I mean, when Roman Reigns' theme hits, you shut up and listen.
Yes.
It's one of those things where there's some themes that hit that you're like, oh man, this is kind of cool. This is rocking. This is get my head going. But his theme gets your attention.
Now, to your point, Tony Khan really licensed a lot of different songs for folks, and he'll use, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, Elton John on Collision on Saturday nights. He will license. Remember when they were coming out to Carry On My Wayward Son?
Moxley and Wild Thing when he came through the crowd.
It was awesome. So I think there's more and more openness now. And believe me, WWE did whip out the checkbook and license for CM Punk, Cult of Personality. What are the residuals on this stuff?
Yeah.
It is fascinating right now. So I don't know. I mean, what are some of your favorite themes going on right now, Brody?
I think Gunther, Roman Reigns. I think with the Vision, Seth Rollins has a great entrance. They all sing along.
He sure does.
Yes. I think back to Shinsuke Nakamura had a heck of an entrance. If you want to Google, him in NXT, that was an awesome entrance. And then Google some of Shinsuke's Japanese entrances are fantastic as well.
Hey, if you're talking about entrances, I think you do have to talk about a man that had a pretty noticeable one. I think his entrance kind of spoke for itself. Brody, our special guest, has joined us on the phone. This man has a bit of a resume, I would say. Can you run down it real quick?
Yes, absolutely. Third generation, started with his grandmother, Christine Jarrett, obviously with the Goulas and Welch, Roy Welch, Nick Goulas territory way back in the day. And of course, 1977, his father, Jerry Jarrett, split off and founded the CWA Memphis territory, started the book. And then, of course, his son is Jeff Jarrett. He's a six-time Intercontinental Champion, the six-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, four-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He's wrestled in every single promotion you've heard of: AEW, WCW, TNA, the promotion he founded, WWE, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the last outlaw has rode into town, Jeff Double J Jarrett.
Yes. I mean...
Wow. Good morning, guys. What an intro. You left a few details out, a few championships. We'll get to that in a minute, but good morning, Slapnut.
Yeah. Oh, man, right off the bat, we're already getting hit with the slap nuts. I absolutely love it. Mr. Jarrett, as I will refer to you as, please, thank you so much for joining us here on Wrestling on the Spectrum. As Brody kind of mentioned, you have literally seen firsthand, as a top-tier wrestler, as a guy behind the scenes on all different promotions, you have seen pretty much everything. In general, the state of wrestling as it is today, how in your eyes can you see that and see where the future of wrestling is going?
Wow, that's a lot to, as my podcast partner Conrad Thompson would say, there's a lot to unpack there in your question.
Yes.
But, yeah, I really, in short, I can't tell you how exciting the wrestling business, the wrestling industry is today. It's bigger, it's stronger, it's healthier. I know some people may look at me a little bit sideways on that, but I truly believe that. When you look at we could just really talk about 2025. We can go back the last couple of years, I think during the pandemic, it was another shining moment for our industry. The whole world shut down, sports, entertainment, but what kept producing content? Professional wrestling. So there's a lot of zeros attached to the deals coming out. I'll be headed over to Forbidden Door at AEW next weekend. At this time, I'll be in London, but you just look back over the last 2 years, our shows at Wembley, not Arena, or Wembley Stadium. You look at the recent TKO/WWE deals that are announced. I could go on and on. We're coming off the heels of Globe Life Field in the Metroplex area in Dallas. What an event that was, at a baseball stadium. So, things are really, really, really just continuing. It amazes me that, you started the intro about the territory days, and now, we're talking about a global industry that just continues to grow.
Absolutely. And speaking of territories, Double J, this is JC. I want to hear your St. Louis specific wrestling memories. Obviously, Wrestle Dreams coming up Saturday, October 18th. Hope to see you then. Can you tell me, when I say St. Louis, Missouri, what comes to mind, sir?
Oh, wow. Well, I don't want to kind of go off into anything that may be a letdown, but I have to say it. St. Louis was the Monday Night Raw the night after my friend Owen passing. And so in a unique way, I will always remember that venue. And in a lot of ways, it was just a surreal day. So when you said what's the first, I'm just being transparent and honest. That came off the cuff. But, so many memories of St. Louis as a kid that you hear about. My dad thought very fondly of everything. I'll just say everything that went with St. Louis. Just a special, special town. In the late 80s, early 90s, when we went out and turned WCCW, the Texas territory, into USWA, working with the Von Erichs and hearing about their success up in the St. Louis market. Kerry had lots of success there. So there are so many memories during we'll call it the Attitude Era. The building was red hot at WCW. We did the Big Dome show. Man, oh man, I could talk forever, but I think Harley Race is the one wrestler that resonates in my brain when I think of St. Louis wrestling. I just think Harley is probably first and foremost. And we had a great relationship. He was on the very first episode of TNA. So love Harley. I got a ton of respect for his career, everything that goes with it. I used to love to hear my grandmother tell stories about Harley and his brother and all that kind of stuff. So, man, oh man, I don't think we have enough time for me to talk St. Louis wrestling.
I love that. And Brody, you grew up on TNA wrestling.
Yes.
You know all of the history, but to you, your formative years, I wonder, Double J, that's got to be crazy to hear these folks that's where they first start. Brody, what are some of your TNA memories?
My earliest TNA memories were obviously Monty Brown and kind of those days. I want to say like 2005, 2006-ish. The X Division was rising. You had, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles. It was incredible. That TNA was really on the rise there. 2000, Jim Cornette came in. That was probably my first ever memory of TNA, is the night Jim Cornette came in as the director of Authority, and of course Dutch Mantel and that creative team. Some of those great guys, Jeremy Borash and Scott D'Amore, and just some of the great guys in over there in TNA. What a great group of cast of characters. Matt Conway and of course Vince Russo, and a lot of those. That creative brain trust over in TNA. We can't forget the lovely Dixie Carter, who was, just everybody there in TNA. It was really it was a special group. And of course, the late Don West and Mike Tenay were on the call. And TNA was just some of those great times, of course, starting on those weekly pay-per-views and Fox Sports. And remember NASCAR? They had, Hubie and all those guys on there. Oh, it was just
Jeff,
phenomenal.
When you hear that, what do you reflect on the legacy of TNA now that so many greats have gone on? How does that make you feel?
When I sit here and hear the energy in that, it immediately kind of makes me jump to a conversation that I had in the last year. You guys may know this name. He'll be featured next weekend. Will Ospreay told me that his first introduction into professional wrestling was just that. Wow. The six-sided ring, AJ Styles, the excitement, Christopher Daniels, Sanjay Dutt, Samoa Joe, the list goes on and on and on. So it's real cool. And St. Louis was a great market right there in St. Charles. what was the Family Arena? I
Yes,
think?
Family
Yes,
Arena,
sir.
lockdown
Exactly it.
2007, Mr. Jarrett. That's right.
Yes, yeah. And I always, that building, that show, at that time, my first wife, she was in the hospital, and I had a buddy in Nashville that said, you can't miss this show. And so, talked with the family, and we kind of had a brain trust. And I was picked up at the hospital by a car, drove to an airport, flew up, worked the show. Immediately after the show was over, flew right back to the hospital. I wasn't really gone from the room, hospital room, more than like 10 hours. And so that was a unique show. In a lot of ways, we've on My World podcast, me and Conrad kind of went into detail on that. But the TNA, I like to say, from about 2002 to about 2009, it really had a unique vibe and a feel for it. Yep. And it was always kind of the little engine that could. That although we might have taken a step back here or there, we always advanced 2 or 3 steps every so often and kept going. And, when you look back and, the Main Event Mafia versus the Frontline and AJ and Eric Young and that whole vibe, it was really, really, I thought, compelling TV. Me and Mick Foley as kind of the figureheads caught in between generations, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Jarrett, what is your current role with AEW, and will we see you in the ring in 2026, 40 years in the sport of professional wrestling?
I'm making a lot of appearances. I did some baseball appearances, of course, my 0 hour, I'll call it co-hosting, RJ City, Renee. We always have guests. I always look forward to that. And you know what? I can assure you the Last Outlaw still has his guitar, and I'm looking for the right opportunity. And be on the lookout. I'll just leave it at that. Be on the lookout. So I enjoy it. I've put together a part of putting together some cross-promotional opportunities with different baseball leagues and that kind of stuff. So developing things here and there. But I love the brand, love the opportunities. Like I said, be headed over to Forbidden Door. Me and Grado got a My World Live next Saturday. So a part of the Forbidden Door weekend festivities.
Awesome. You've been a 2-time AAA mega heavyweight champion. You've wrestled at TripleMania. What are your thoughts on WWE buying AAA and your memories wrestling in Mexico for AAA?
A lot of folks that obviously know me from whether, as we've kind of discussed, the WWF, you want to call it at the times, the IC runs, the WCW world title runs, the TNA runs. I'll call it the hardcore Jeff Jarrett fans. They do know kind of my tracker in Mexico. In a lot of ways, I was the hottest heel at that part in my career. A lot of success. I think I was on 9 different TripleManias. And so I've got a ton of respect for the Roldan family. Obviously, I worked with Pena way back when. He's founded the company. We had a real kinship. And then I knew Dorian as a college kid, literally, that was, ended up his family in the wrestling business that obviously they weren't set out to. It was his brother, his uncle, but the sister, Maricella's brother, Antonio's the one who was in the wrestling business, but they took that business and had some tough startup years in their world.
Oh, we may have lost the Last Outlaw. Who could this have been, Scott?
They branded TripleMania in just such a unique way. And then the acquisition, I think in a lot of ways that was, those wheels were set in motion years ago. And so the brand is super strong. And I love the Lucha style. I've had a lot of success for one reason or another down there, guys. They don't like me. And I just know, that's the minority. No, again, a lot of success. Love the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you're a Hall of Famer in WWE and TNA. What are some of your favorite matches that you've ever wrestled in, Mr. Jarrett? I mean, obviously you've had so many, but what are some of your favorite matches, sir?
You talking about AAA or just kind of in
no,
general?
just in general. Just in general.
That is a loaded question. I always kind of go in eras. In my early years, getting to the opportunity to step into the ring with essentially my childhood idol, Jerry the King Lawler, was always really special. We did several 60-minute through Broadway matches and a couple of different feuds. early days against the Moondogs. And then, I got to go with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels in that mid-'90s run. And then, the world title victories, DDP, that era of WCW, it was behind the scenes. It's been well documented. What a mess. What a lot of chefs in the kitchen, so to speak. But that was a part of my career that I knew that the only thing I really could control or contribute to was my effort. And so I tried to go out every night and bust my ass. And then, the TNA runs, early AJ style matches were always super challenging, very hard hitting. Kurt Angle matches. At that stage of my career, I did things that had matches that I candidly didn't think I had in me, but Kurt brought it out of me. And then I got to say over the last couple of years, whether it's Orange Cassidy or an FTR tag bout or whatever it may be, Hangman in the Owen Hangman strap match in Arthur Ashe Stadium, the Wembley Stadium appearance last year. There's a lot of highlights, so it's really hard for me. But I feel very blessed to have my in-ring career that I've had.
Absolutely.
But next year, it will be heading into my 40th year. So
who can say that?
Conrad has some things cooked up that he wants to do. We'll see. We're in August, obviously, but he's got an idea, or more than an idea, many ideas for my 40th year. So we'll see how that works out.
That's fantastic. As the fans say, you still got it, sir.
Absolutely. And Double J, before we let you go, we did this. We actually had Conrad on the show last weekend, and we did this before we let him go as well. So Brody we call him the savant of the squared circle. Okay. You give him, I want you to give him like your favorite iconic match, not even a Double J match, just any match that pops into your mind that is an iconic match that is one of your favorites. And Brody will be able to give you who won, where it was. I mean, he will give you details beyond details. So pick one of the most iconic matches that is your personal fave, and we'll see how much Brody can nail on this.
Beat the brain.
Here we go.
Go for it.
Can we do a couple of these? I'll get him.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, he's ready for it.
Jerry Lawler winning the AWA world title for the first time.
Would have been, I wonder, would that have been from Bockwinkel, I want to say, right? Did he beat Bockwinkel? I want to say that would have been, is it 75 or was it later on in 77 when he beat Bockwinkel?
Can I give you guys just a little insight here?
Yes, please.
Brody may have some skill set, but I don't think I've ever lost at the wrestler name game. So that's why I probably should have eased in with an easy one. But
okay.
It's Kurt Hennig, 1988. So
that was the first time he ever won. I thought he wrestled Bockwinkel for the AWA
2 out of 3
title,
falls, brother.
But I knew I shouldn't have come out because I got him with a trick question, because most people would immediately Lawler's basically a 1970s deal. Okay. Jeff Jarrett's first Intercontinental title victory.
Would have been 90, would that have been 94, 95, I think. Would have been 94, I want to say.
Again.
94. That wouldn't have been against Razor, would have been? Did he beat Razor for the first time, or would have been different wrestler? I don't think it was against Razor.
You got to mark it? Do you know what city?
City would have been pay-per-view 94 in your house. That would have been before WrestleMania. No, that wouldn't have been. Sean and Razor.
It's Razor 95 Royal Rumble, Tampa, Florida.
Okay, so it wasn't against Razor.
Hey,
so I'll give you 2 matches before you were born. So that's a little out of bounds.
Which, by the way, Brody, tell everybody when you were born. What year?
2002. So that was the year TNA was founded.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So let me go to Kurt Angle's first world title victory.
Would have been in 2006, Bound for Glory, and I think he beat Sting.
There you go.
Look at this.
Right, yeah.
Double J gave you the rub.
Look at this.
There we go.
Brody the Brain, always showing off the brain. Thank you very much. Double J, anything to promote before we let you go?
No, you know what? I appreciate it. I'm excited about y'all show. I love it. I don't want this to be the one and only time. I would absolutely come back. But, my podcast drops every Tuesday. My world, me and Conrad love to chop it up and talk some old stories, talk a few current things here and there. And looking forward to everybody tuning in to Forbidden Door next weekend. But most importantly to this audience, we'll be in St. Louis. God almighty, what is it, 2 months?
It's coming up.
Like it's less than 2 months. So hope everybody gets to come on out there. And we're going to have us a nice round of the name game in wrestlers and see who gets their hand raised.
Absolutely love it. Double J, thank you very much, and appreciate it when you come down in St. Louis. We'd love to see you and say hello in person.
I appreciate you guys. Happy Saturday. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Buddy. I mean, fellas, check this out. I mean, joined by wrestling royalty, like on the regular. Like
Living
this is
legend. You just don't appreciate some of these guys who've been around 40 years. Who else can say that? Who has seen it all? And he can still go, man. He looks great.
Absolutely. Hey, Brody, what are we going to talk about next weekend here on Wrestling on the Spectrum?
It's going to be a great show next week where you're going to preview AEW Forbidden Doors. So check out the AEW preview for Forbidden Door next week here on Wrestling on the Spectrum. It is definitely going to be a great show like it is every week. It's obviously great to be on with you guys, Jeremy and Tony. What a great show we had today. The last Outlaw rode into town.
Absolutely. And you can catch up on the podcast by going online. Don't forget, you can find it 24/7 right here on the Lou Information Station, online and on demand at louinfo.com.
Lucha.
The Lou Information Station, a whole new way to enjoy content created just for those of us